you think about when after in the recession, when unemployment was really high and millions of families, lost their jobs, lost their homes. So that's a time when the economy was really struggling, and so our job number one for most of the last 8 and 9 years is to get America back to work, and by lowering interest rates, by creating easier credit conditions that helps people buy things, pay for things, businesses invest, and it's indirect. We're not hiring people, but we're making conditions in the economy more conducive to people getting jobs back, and I think that's really what it was about. Now it's trying to keep this economy on a stable footing, so we don't have another a major recession or downturn or thing or reduce the risk of that. And I go back to it depends on how old you are, but inflation is it sounds like it's a thing of the past. But for all of us who've lived through that, especially for people who saw the value of their savings shrink and all that during the 70s and early 80s, this mission of keeping low and stable inflation is also very important. Right now it's hard to get people to react because they're going, well, we've had that for a long time, but we know that if we don't get our job right, that hurts. It really hurts families, and high inflation hurts low-income families, even lower-income families, even harder. So, with the recession, I think it was clearer what we were trying to do is just try to keep, get America back to work, help create jobs. Now it's trying to keep this economy on a stable footing so this expansion can continue as long as possible.
No. Manufacturing in the U.S. or no?
Well, you see, what's interesting about manufacturing is if you look at the amount that's produced in the manufacturing sector, that's actually been pretty strong, and what's happened is that technology has dramatically reduced. I mean, the productivity gains driven by technology in manufacturing dramatically reduce the number of people it takes to produce that same amount of output. So I think that when I think about manufacturing, I think of it as, it's an important part of our economy, but it's not the only part of our economy that can generate strong job growth and well-paying jobs. I think that's the thing that I disagree with. I think that you look at healthcare, you look at education, you look at a lot of business and financial services. There are a lot of parts of our economy that are the service sector. Well, even in tech, a lot of that is now service sector, service kind of things that create a lot of wealth, create a lot of potential for income and well-paying jobs. So, I often use the example of nursing, which is a completely health care services, where there's always a shortage of nurses. There's a incredible demand for highly trained nurses, experienced nurses. So there's plenty of demand for high-skilled, highly trained, rewarding work that pays well. But we need to have all of our infrastructure, including our education and job training and everything, kind of aligned. Well, I think it two things. First of all, it gets me out of New York City, which is great because it's great to visit all the parts of the region, and I love this part of the job. You get to meet interesting people. You get to ask them any question you want and learn about how the economy actually works and like what is it, how do these things happen in practice, not just hearing about it indirectly. Mm-hmm. The other is to get that full picture. That's something I said during my comments. My office has been in San Francisco for a long time, and then now in downtown New York. And if you just look out your window, you're just looking at what you see when you're walking down the street, you're getting a very biased view of what's happening in the economy. You got to get out. And it could be that you're getting too pessimistic or too optimistic, and go out and see what's happening across the range of developments. And part of it is the ability to understand how credit conditions are changing, how business optimism is changing. Being able to talk directly to business people about how the possibility of tariffs is affecting their decisions gives you, granular and also real-time kind of input into thinking about what's happening. Mm-hmm. In terms of the big policy decisions, I just think that as part of the kind of the input into those, we do a lot of analysis, we look at a lot of data, we do a lot of financial market, monitoring, but this other anecdotal or narrative part of it, I think actually helps to organize thoughts, maybe, tests some theories in a bit. Sometimes we say, well, maybe this is what's happening. Well, go talk to people and hear, does this resonate with business or community leaders? And so that's the kind of thing, but that we're able to do. The other thing is people are amazingly generous with their time and happy to contribute, because they understand our mission is really just to serve the public and get great policy decisions. So it's not like we're offering the money or changing taxes, and once they're clear that we don't set taxes, then everyone's, happy to talk to us.
Okay, thank you.